In this section, we are going to work on the topic of relief and control of the catalysts of emotion. Up to this point, you already know that what generates a thought of pain or pleasure, depending on the case, and with it, the emotion associated with that thought, is a psychic catalyst. You walk down the street and you see people, places, moments, or objects that in turn activate a memory, whether conscious or unconscious, that makes you feel a certain way because you mean that event in a specific way, be positive or negative, as the case might be. But how do you deal with that catalyst of emotion, which is essentially what you want to learn so that it doesn't affect you as much as it has up to now? You will realize that until before this program, the catalyst was simply activated and you were a kind of prey to the catalyst, which did with you what it wanted. Now that you are aware, you can implement a series of strategies so that it does not affect you as much as it has up to now. Given this small reminder of what we saw in the previous section, let's work on the techniques that you should use when the catalyst of emotion is activated. The techniques you are going to use are preparation, distancing, shielding, blurring, selective focus, and finally, positive association. So I want you, as a first step, to think about some of the psychic catalysts that you recognize in the previous section, which we are going to use here as an example so that you can learn the technique. Preparation, which is the first step, consists precisely in preparing yourself mentally and emotionally for the moment in which the psychic catalyst is going to emerge. If you already know that there is a moment of the day in which the catalyst is going to arise, what you must do is recognize that that event is going to occur. So before the event happens, you begin to psych yourself up. You tell yourself, this event is going to happen, I know it is going to cause me pain, but it's not going to defeat me, because I am the one who controls my thoughts and emotions. If you notice, just with this exercise, I induce a state of moderate tranquility in you, because you already know that you are the one who is in control. Now, I want you to visualize yourself in the very moment in which the catalyst manifests. You arrive at that space where that person, or that place, or that object that causes you so much pain appears in front of you, and before the sensation of emotional pain manifests itself, the drop in your mood that you feel due to the catalyst of the emotion, I want you to visualize the thing or person or object and with your mind move it away from you. You will notice that even when it is 2 steps away from you, if you move it away with your mind, you can move that physical object away as if it were miles away from you. I am sure that if you have done the exercise well, your level of discomfort has already decreased by 50%. But we still have more. Once you have removed that emotional catalyst, we are now going to use the shield technique. I want you to imagine that above your entire body, a kind of force field has emerged, in which the negative emotions that until recently flooded you no longer enter. There are only positive sensations in the shield. It is a shield of happiness, joy, and pleasurable physical sensations. I am sure by now you must feel much more relaxed. And we only did it with a fairly quick and effective technique. Now, and once we have removed what was bothering you, think being in the same place and that you have built a shield that generates sensations of pleasure. I want you to diffuse what bothers you. I want you to use your imagination and transform that person, place, or object into something that looks increasingly blurry. If you look closely, just with the power of your mind, you have managed to stop what was bothering you from manifesting itself so strongly as it did until a while ago. You no longer see it as clearly as you saw it before, and you have achieved that simply with your own power of psychic control. So, every time you face a psychic catalyst, those that you have recognized in the previous section, I want you to use these techniques so that it does not affect you as much as it has until now. The idea of this exercise is that you can do it unconsciously. You will notice that the more you do it, the easier it will be for you to dissociate from that catalyst that bothers you. Here, through all these techniques, I am operating at a subliminal level in your unconscious. The idea is that all this is activated automatically and that you reach a point where you don't even need to do the complete exercise, but rather, your brain is so well calibrated that it dissociates you from everything that bothers you. That said, let's look at the part 2 of this process, which is the moment when you are going to focus on something else. That which once catalyzed the emotion that hurts you has now become less and less relevant to you. You pushed it away, you took refuge in your shield, and you blurred it. Now, the next step is that, as I told you, you choose a new element to focus on in that circumstance. You will notice that just as there are objects that generate negative sensations, there are also objects that generate positive emotions. And that's why I want you to think about an object that is in the place where your negative emotion occurs, but that, contrary to what happens with your catalyst, you now attribute a positive emotion to it. That's the selective approach I told you about. To give you an example, it could be a clock, a tree, the birds that flutter in that space. You choose the positive catalyst. And once you have chosen that positive catalyst, I want you to associate it with some memory that makes you feel good. If the catalyst you are dissociating from here subjects you to a state of sadness, I want you to look for something that generates joy and fun. You can associate it with some fun memory, to an event that has caused you a lot of laughter at some point in your life. You will notice that with this exercise alone, the effect of the emotion catalyst drops by almost 90%. The idea is that you reach a point where you only need to activate the positive catalyst so that the catalyst that until now caused you so much pain does not affect you. Here, you have already learned to control your emotional catalysts. In the next sections and modules, you will learn to relieve and control your thoughts, emotions, and eventually the physical effects that these thoughts and emotions cause in you. I see you there.